Let's break down a massive bantamweight matchup coming up to UFC Shanghai. Umar Nurmagomedov versus Song Yadong. This is a fight between two different elite fighters. On one side, you have Umar Nurmagomedov, one of the most technically gifted grapplers in the bantamweight division, with the Dagestani wrestling system, dangerous submissions, and increasingly sophisticated striking. On the other side, you've got Song Yadong, China's Kung Fu Kid, a powerful boxer with excellent takedown defense, fast hands, and enough power to completely change a fight with one punch. This is a fascinating matchup because of one simple question. Can Song keep this fight standing long enough to hurt Umar, or will Umar's wrestling eventually take over? Let's break it down. Let's start with Umar. Umar is one of the most complete fighters in the bantamweight division. He's 20-1, with his only professional loss coming by decision against Merab Dvalishvili. He has 7 submission victories and 2 knockout wins. And the scary thing about Umar is that he doesn't have to win the fight in one specific way. He can beat you with wrestling, he can beat you with submissions, he can beat you with kicks only, and increasingly he can beat you with his boxing. When we talk about his fight style, we do have to first talk about his elite wrestling. This is obviously the foundation of Umar's game, but what makes him so difficult to deal with isn't simply getting the takedown, it's what happens after the takedown. Umar constantly looks to advance positions. He'll move from the legs to the back, from the back to a choke, from one position to another. He doesn't give his opponents much time to breathe, and of course that leads into his submission game. Umar has 7 submission victories. That makes every grappling exchange dangerous. His rear naked choke is particularly dangerous once he gets behind an opponent, and that's a major problem for Song because Song's best defense is keeping Umar from getting his hands around him in the first place. And of course, we also have to talk about Umar's striking. This is where Umar doesn't get enough credit in my opinion. He's not simply a wrestler who uses striking to close the distance. His kicking game is excellent. He can attack from long range with kicks, change levels underneath those attacks, and force opponents to constantly think about both the striking and the wrestling threats. That's what makes him so difficult to prepare for, and this leads to his fight IQ. Umar is extremely calculated. He's generally not looking for unnecessary exchanges. He wants to make his opponent react. Once they react, he attacks the opponent. That's classic high-level MMA. And when we take a look at Umar's last 5 fights, Umar is on a 2-fight winning streak, 2 very good wins, honestly speaking. His title fight loss against Merab, that's the last time and the only time he's lost, including the decision over former UFC flyweight champion Deiveson Figueiredo, and this was back in January of 2026. And that Figueiredo fight is important because Figueiredo is a dangerous, experienced grappler himself, although he's definitely washed and was past his prime in that fight, but he's still dangerous. Umar was able to control the fight and get the decision. Now he's facing another fighter with excellent takedown defense. Song is a completely different problem, alright? He's 23-9-1. He has 9 knockout victories and 4 submission wins, and he's currently riding on momentum after submitting Deiveson Figueiredo. So of course, when we talk about his fight style, we do have to talk about the boxing a little bit. This is Song's biggest weapon. His boxing is crisp, powerful, and technically sound. He likes combinations such as the right hand into the left hook. He has a dangerous overhand right and an uppercut as well. That could be extremely important against Umar because Umar will have to enter punching range to wrestle, and Song is waiting for him to take advantage in that position. And of course, that leads to his power. Song has legitimate knockout power. He's finished 9 opponents by knockout or TKO, and unlike a fighter who needs 5 or 6 punches to hurt you, Song can change the fight with one clean counter. That's the biggest danger, in my opinion, against Umar. That's the biggest problem he's going to deal with. And of course, we have to talk about his takedown defense, which is going to play a big part. Song has defended 74% of takedown attempts in the UFC, and that's extremely important because Umar's entire game revolves around creating a grappling sequence. If Song can constantly stop the first takedown and get back to his feet after the second, Umar could be forced into a striking battle. Song is physically strong for the bantamweight division. He's only 5'8", but he's muscular and compact. That can make him difficult to control against the cage. And when Umar shoots, Song's ability to widen his base and fight the hands could become crucial. And looking at Song's last 5 fights, had a win against Davidson Figueiredo, had a nice guillotine choke in round 2. In my opinion, his win against Figueiredo was more impressive than Umar, honestly speaking. But of course, he had a loss against Sean O'Malley, had a win against Henry Cejudo, had a loss against Petr Yan, had a win against Chris Gutierrez. So you can see some inconsistency here, especially when he faces a high level fighter. The recent results are interesting. He's gone 2-2 in his last 4, but those losses come against Sean O'Malley and Petr Yan, 2 of the best technical strikers at bantamweight. And now Song gets another elite challenge, but this time the opponent presents a completely different problem. And of course, for a quick breakdown for their stylistic matchup, this is where the fight really gets interesting because the two fighters are almost opposite. Umar has the wrestling, the kicks, the submissions, the range control, grappling, pressure. Song has the boxing, the power, the takedown defense, counter punching, physical strength. So the fight essentially becomes, can Umar force the fight into his world, or can Song keep Umar in his world? When it comes to the wrestling, not a question at all. The biggest battle of the fight, Umar is going to try to get Song to the fence. Once Song is there, Umar is going to try to attack the legs, body lock, trip, or chain together multiple takedown attempts. But Song has a very important advantage. He's hard to take down. He honestly is. So Umar can't assume that the first shot is going to work. He may have to make Song defend 3 or 4 attempts, and that leads to the striking battle as well. We got to flip the matchup around. If this fight stays standing, Song becomes extremely dangerous. He's more natural as a boxer. His punches are compact, his combinations are fast, and he has legitimate knockout power, like I said, but Umar has his own advantage as well. His kicks can disrupt Song's boxing rhythm, and more importantly, Song has to worry about the takedown every time Umar throws something. That creates hesitation, and hesitation is exactly what a fighter like Umar wants. When it comes to the path to victory for Umar Nurmagomedov, for Umar, the game plan should be very clear. He's going to try his best not to fight as a pure boxer. Umar will try not to spend 5 rounds trying to prove he can outbox Song. That would be ridiculous. Why would he play Song's game? He's going to use the wrestling, and then he's going to try to mix it with the takedowns. That's really huge. He's going to throw kicks, make Song react, then change levels, or threaten a takedown and come back upstairs. Make Song constantly guess what the next move is going to be. He's going to try his best to push Song to the cage. Open space favors Song's boxing. The cage favors Umar's wrestling. Umar needs to steadily shrink the octagon. And going back to attacking the body, if Umar gets a takedown, he's going to try his best to not just settle for top control. He's going to look for the back. Once he gets there, the rear naked choke becomes a major threat. And then when it comes to the path to victory for Song Yadong, Song's blueprint is almost the exact opposite. He's going to try his best to keep this fight at the center. Try not to let Umar comfortably push him towards the cage, circle, reset, get back to the middle. He's going to try to punish every entry that Umar makes. Umar needs to pay for every takedown attempt. Uppercuts, knees, hooks, straight punches. If Song can make Umar hesitate before shooting, that's a massive victory in my opinion. And of course, he's going to try to attack the body. That's something he always does. This could be a sneaky important strategy. Umar relies heavily on movement and explosiveness. Song will try to attack the body and make Umar work harder for his entries. And of course, he has to stay patient while doing all this. Song cannot get frustrated if Umar is having access early. Song cannot get frustrated if Umar is having success early. He needs to remain patient, and he is for the most part, because the longer he keeps the fight standing, the more opportunities he gets to land a fight-changing punch. In my opinion, the biggest X factor is Song's ability to defend chained takedowns. Stopping one takedown isn't enough. Umar is going to keep it coming. If Song stops the first attempt but gets taken down 20 seconds later, the initial defense doesn't matter. He needs to constantly win the entire grappling sequence. That's a much harder task. And who has the cardio advantage in this fight? I think that's an important question. It's interesting because both men are capable of fighting hard 5 rounds, but Umar's grappling can make cardio a little deceptive there. A fighter may look fine standing when they spend 2 minutes defending takedowns against the cage. that drains an enormous amount of energy. If Umar is constantly making Song wrestle, Song could be significantly more tired by round 4. And this is a very interesting fight because Song has exactly the skill set that can make Umar uncomfortable. He's powerful, he's difficult to take down, he's experienced, and he's comfortable fighting elite competition. But Umar has too many ways to force this fight into his preferred positions, and I think that's ultimately the difference. Song will have his moments, but I'm gonna go with Umar winning by a unanimous decision. I don't think Song is easy to submit in any way. His takedown defense and physical strength could allow him to survive some dangerous positions, but over 5 rounds, Umar should accumulate enough takedowns, control time, and positional advantages to win the judges' scorecards. But let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think I'm spot on with this? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Let it go in the comments, and please go ahead and like this video. If you like the video, it helps the channel a whole lot, and if you want more breakdowns like this, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you on the next one.